Let's talk about... I wasn't ready for that. Let's talk about the Toyota GR GT. And yes, it is more important than you might think. Let's have a look at why that is. This is my opinion on why the GR GT is more important than you think, but I would just like to share this with you because I am starting to follow along a little bit more with the GR GT. So, for those of you out of the loop, the Toyota GR GT is the Gazoo Racing brand's first supercar. And it is a de facto successor to the Lexus LFA. I know that Toyota's, actually Lexus, is working on a new LFA, but it's going to be electric. And really, I do not consider an electric car a successor, a proper successor to the Lexus LFA. It's a successor in name only. So let's focus on the GR GT and its status as a successor to the Lexus LFA. So the GR GT was revealed in pre-production form last year in 2025, along with the GT3 race version, which is going to replace the Lexus RCF in the World Endurance Championships and similar types of events. There are a few reasons why the GR GT is important. First of all, and arguably this is the most important reason why, is the fact that Toyota bothered making one in the first place. Toyota did not have to make a supercar to show that they're cool now, but they did. They made another supercar because they can. Why not? It's a fantastic idea. It's always a good idea to have a halo car. I remember Doug DeMuro once, back when I regularly used to watch his content, I remember him saying that the Audi R8 was the perfect way to do a halo car for a car manufacturer, and I am inclined to agree with that, and I think that Toyota is going to get it right with the GR GT as well. It's a halo car to show that what the brand is capable of, and it's here to prove to us that Toyota is cool again, and they like to focus on performance cars and shifting that whole reputation for making boring cars. So the GR GT basically does not need to exist, but Toyota went and made one anyway, just to prove that the Gazoo Racing division is serious about making cool cars. And we already know they can make cool cars with the GR Yaris and the GR Corolla, and now they have taken it a step further. So it's really cool that the GR GT exists in the first place, and the fact that it's not going to be a limited production model. It's a series production supercar. Which neatly brings me on to the next point. The GR GT, I feel, is a very clear demonstration of the lessons learned with the Lexus LFA. Now, I should be honest and clear about my biases here, and I will be. The Lexus LFA is probably my all-time favorite supercar, which is why I'm qualified to tell you that Toyota and Lexus made some pretty big mistakes with it. They invested way too much money into the LFA project, which caused the LFA to be stupidly expensive, and they actually, I'm sure you're aware of this by now, they actually incurred a loss on every single one of the 500 LFAs that they made. Even though they were selling them for, I don't know, $500,000 back in 2010 and 2011, the LFA was still a massive loss on every single one that was sold. Of course, now the LFA is worth $1.5 million to $2 million, so I guess it all evens out eventually. But the GR GT in a lot of ways demonstrates that Toyota learned its lessons from the LFA project, and they wanted to democratize the Toyota/Lexus, let's say, supercar. Technically, I am right in saying Lexus here because, at least in North America, the GR GT will be sold through Lexus dealerships. Select Lexus dealerships, as far as I understand it. Anyway, a lot of lessons have been learned. For example, the engine. First of all, we should be grateful that it has a V8 in the first place. That's really cool, especially in the modern downsizing climate. The V8 engine under the hood of the GR GT is actually based on the new 4-cylinder architecture. So, because Toyota already had the architecture and it was already paid for, the development costs, it won't cost them a pretty penny to develop a completely bespoke engine just for this car, like they did with the LFA, because the 4.8-liter V10 in the LFA only ever powered the LFA, and as far as I know, it was only ever meant to power the LFA. So we have a cost-saving measure, if you will, right there. The V8 in the GR GT is based on an existing architecture, and it won't incur additional development costs. Not least because also, to my knowledge, Toyota did not have to Toyota did not have to draft in Yamaha to help with the development, so make of that what you will. Next up is the GR-GT's chassis. One of the reasons why the LFA was so freaking expensive was because the whole car had a carbon fiber tub. Carbon fiber tubs, like McLaren's and other vehicles, are stupidly expensive to produce. Stupidly expensive. But so Toyota said, okay, we're not going to waste money on that. Here you go. The GR-GT has an aluminum chassis, and the body panels, most of them, are made from carbon fiber reinforced plastic, which is the same material that the Lexus LFA's body panels were made of. So that's another lesson learned. Hey, CFRP is good. Let's use CFRP on our new supercar. So that's good news indeed. And there's a lot more. The GR-GT, relative to a lot of the stuff we see nowadays, is actually quite simple. So there's no pushrod suspension, for example. It's just double wishbones front and rear. The engine is not custom engineered specifically for the GR-GT. It's just a V8. And the hybrid system is actually really simple. It's not, a separate electric drive unit that adds weight and complexity and all of this. It's just a small electric motor that fills in all the torque gaps and helps out the turbochargers in the engine, like the new Porsche 911 GTS. It works in the same sort of way, and you cannot actually drive the GR-GT on electric power alone like you can with the Chevy Corvette E-Ray, which is now the Chevy Corvette Grand Sport. It's all a little bit more simple, and even further, the interior is actually pretty Toyota-esque. It has the exact same infotainment system from what I can see in the pictures. It's literally the same infotainment system as what you get on a Camry or the new RAV4. The shifter is from the new RAV4 as well. And the gearbox itself is also nothing complicated. It's just an 8-speed automatic. It's not a DCT or an E-gear semi-automatic fare like old Lambos or what have you. It's just an automatic transmission, as you do. And another really amazing thing about the GR-GT is the fact that they kept it rear-wheel drive. They have every reason in the world to make it all-wheel drive, because now for some reason most supercars have to be all-wheel drive. No, the GR-GT is rear-wheel drive, not least because of the packaging. It's basically impossible to add the hardware for an all-wheel drive system in the GR-GT, because of the way the engine is all the way back behind the front axle, and the fact that there's a torque tube running through the center to the transaxle in the back. It's not going to happen. It's going to be rear-wheel drive. And another thing I really like about the GR-GT is the design. I think it looks fantastic, to be honest with you, but I also like that in typical Japanese supercar fashion, it's meant to be functional first. And that's another thing as well. I think that Toyota is trying to sort of democratize, if you will, quote-unquote, democratize the Japanese supercar. Because if there's anything we need to know about Japanese supercars, it's that they're pretty level-headed, but they still provide an excellent driving experience, like was the case with the Honda NSX. But because the Honda NSX is no longer with us, and we'll have to wait until 2030 for a new Nissan GTR, this is a pretty good consolation prize. On the topic of simplicity, there's no ridiculous engine configuration. What do I mean by that? The McLaren Artura and the Ferrari 296, I wouldn't really consider the 296 a direct competitor to the GR-GT, because the 296 has 819 horsepower to the GR-GT's 641. But both of those cars, the McLaren and the Ferrari, have 120 degrees between the cylinder heads. And the turbochargers are placed inside the hot V, and the 120-degree cylinder heads increase the inherent engine balance and things like that. Not the case with the GR-GT. It's just, I think it's either 60 or 75 degrees between the heads. Don't quote me on that. And overall, the GR-GT, even though it did not need to exist, I'm very glad that it does, and it has a perfectly good reason to exist. Toyota really wants to show the world that they know how to make a good supercar. It's been well over 15 years since the last supercar that Toyota was involved with, the Lexus LFA, and it's important because we're going to see all of the lessons that Toyota learned during the production of the LFA and how it translates to a new type of supercar. And of course, the biggest news about the GR-GT compared to the LFA is because of all the lack of unnecessary complications, it's going to be way more affordable. And because Toyota doesn't have the badge kudos in this segment, I think it'll undercut the competition like the Porsche 911 and the Mercedes-AMG GT and the McLaren Artura by a significant amount. And I'm very excited for the Toyota GR-GT, and I'm going to make a little shot in the dark here. I've never done this before, but this is a different situation. If you are based in mainland Europe and you're watching this video in the future when you have already taken delivery of your GR-GT and you're fine with a loser from the Balkans making a review on it, please reach out to me. My email address is in the About section of the channel. Reach out to me, and I would love to arrange a little something with you. As long as you're in mainland Europe and you're fine with me getting behind the wheel with you in the passenger seat, of course. And that's going to be about it for this video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think of the GR-GT in the comments below. Follow me on Blue Sky. There will be a link in the description as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.